Hello guys, good morning. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all can hear me. Can you guys confirm once? Am I audible to everyone? Yes, great. Thanks for confirming. So let us start the session, guys. So if you guys remember, yesterday we had our very first demo. Okay, those who have not attended the first demo, please connect with an admin. They will give you the recording. Please watch the video. Okay, today in our yesterday session, I have told you about what is data engineering, right? So we have seen about 4 topics. All the course content also we have seen, right? So we have seen about what is data engineering, what is Google Cloud Platform, what are the course details, and course curriculum also we have seen. So all of these details we have seen all of these details, guys. In today's session I am going to start with our very first topic. We are going to start with our part 1, that is cloud basics. Our very first topic is cloud overview. I'm going to talk about why we need the cloud platform today and what is the difference between the on-premises and cloud. And after that, I will we have already seen what is Google Cloud Platform. We will see one more time what is Google Cloud Platform, and I may give you some overview on the interfaces. And all of that other topics we are going to see in the upcoming sessions, such as interfaces, console walkthrough, GCP locations, and IM and admin. All of these topics we are going to see it one by one in our upcoming sessions. I am going to start with this one, guys, today. Very first topic, that is cloud overview. Okay, why we actually need the cloud platforms? How people were working, or how people were working, or companies were working 10 years before, 15 years before the cloud platforms. Without cloud platforms, how the people were working? So let us try to understand the traditional way of working, and we will try to compare it with the cloud, and we will see what is the challenges when we are working with the traditional working model, and how the cloud platform is helping us to fix those challenges. Let us try to understand one by one. Okay, so let me gonna start with the very first thing, that is why we need the cloud platform. For that one, I would like to take a very simple example, that is take an example that a company wanted to roll out a new application. Assume that there is a one company or an organization wanted to create one application. If they wanted to create an application, can you guys tell me what are the things that they need it? Yesterday I have told you guys. If I wanted to create one application, because this application will be used by the plenty of the users, isn't it? There will be a plenty of users. They will be start using that application. So if I wanted to create an application, you need 3 things. As I told you, you need the developers to create the code, and this code needs to be deployed on top of some infrastructure or runtime or whatever it is. Okay, so this is how. So if you wanted to create one application, you need 3 things, that is developers, code, and infrastructure. So let me gonna tell you how a traditional working model works for creating an entirely new application. Let us try to understand. For that one, assume that if an assume that if an organization wanted to create a new application, a business comes up with a requirement for the application. There will be a business team will be there. They will be coming up with the requirement for the application, and then a business analyst will gather the needs from the business and analyzes it and converts that into a set of high level technical requirements. What the business analyst will do, he will gather all the requirements and needs from the business, and he analyzes that information, and he converts that information into the set of high level technical requirements, and then he passes that information to the solution architect. He passes that information to the solution architect. Now the solution architecture will try to create an architecture diagram to be followed for the application deployment. The solution architect will create a architectural diagram to be followed for the deployment of the application. This may involve all the things, right? How many developers are needed, what is the programming language, how to develop the code, and what is the infrastructure and how much amount of infrastructure. So the developers, and what is the code and how to prepare the code, what is the programming language, and what is the infrastructure, how much of infrastructure required. Everything he is going to be mentioning in the solution architecture diagram. So assume that this could be some architecture diagram. In an architecture diagram, he will be mentioning all the details related to the developers as well as the code development and infrastructure. So developers will be recruited according to their expertise on the code development. So this and this will be taken care. Who has to take care of this infrastructure in the company? When we are following a traditional working model, the entire things has to be available in the on-premises environment only. When I say entire infrastructure, it could be a number of servers, it could be a front-end server or back-end databases, or it could be a hardware or a software or a networking components or anything. When I say an infrastructure, it could be anything, guys. It could be a hardware, it could be software, it could be networking components, it could be storage, it could be any other information that is related to the physically available equipment. So this entire infrastructure has to be available in the company's data center only, because when you are working in the traditional working model, company has to take care of all of this infrastructure. Okay, if the infrastructure is not available, what we have to do, guys? Right? So whatever the infrastructure that is required for the application deployment, he might have mentioned some 10 compute services or 10 resources, and out of them only 5 available, 5 not available. What we have to do, guys? If the infrastructure that is mentioned in the architecture diagram, it is not available, the full infrastructure is not available, that means if the additional hardware is needed, they would have to order it via procurement team. And this team will put a request to the vendors team, and now it will take days or weeks or even months for the hardware to be purchased and delivered to the data center. What they have to do, guys? They have to purchase it and deliver it to the data center. It may take days, even weeks or even months also for everything to be purchased and delivered to the data centers. Once it is received at the data center, that's where the infrastructure, because once it is received at the data center, we can't directly use it. Okay, so that's where the infrastructure team come into the picture, and there will be a first field engineers will be there. They will create a rack and stack. You might have just seen rack and stack means this one. So this is what we call as the rack and stack. Okay, so whatever the hardware you are purchasing, whatever the amount of infrastructure you are purchasing, the field engineers will convert that infrastructure or hardware into this rack and stack first. This means it is an organized way of storing your infrastructure. Okay, first they have to build the data center like this, and after that they are going to uh, convert your entire infrastructure or hardware into the rack and stack. Everyday monitoring and maintenance, all the activities they have to take care of it. Okay, so now the field engineers will prepare the rack and stack. Then the system admins will come into the picture and they will do the initial configuration of the system. And the network admins will make sure all of these systems are available over the network. And the storage admins will assign the storage to these systems. And backup admins will configure the backups as per the standards. Once the entire things are ready as per the standards, Once entire infrastructure is readily available as per the standards that is mentioned in the infrastructure diagram, it will be handed over to the application team. It will be handed over to the application team. Now the application team will try to deploy the code. Because the application team means developers only. They might have created the code already according to the programming language, and they will deploy that infrastructure. Sorry, they have deployed that code on top of this infrastructure, which is there in the data center. That's where the application is running in lively in the data center. Okay, so this is what is we call it as a traditional working model, everyone. In a traditional working model, if an organization wanted to roll out a new application, the business comes up with a requirement for the application, and business analyst will gather all the needs from the business and analyzes that into the sorry, and converts that into a set of high level technical requirements and passes that information to the solution architect. Now the solution architect will create an architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment of the application. This solution architecture diagram, it involves many things, including the infrastructure details also, such as the number of servers, or the front-end web server, back-end web server, the databases, the load balancers, or specification types, whatever it is that is required for the application deployment, he will be mentioning in the architecture diagram. If the entire infrastructure is already available in the data center, there is no problem. But if the additional hardware is required, it has to be ordered it via procurement team. Procurement team will place a request to the vendors team. Now the vendors team will purchase it and deliver it to the data center. And it could take a lot of time also. Once that is received at the data center, the field engineers will take in charge, and they will create the rack and stack for that. And the system admins will assign the system configurations. Network admins will assign the network admins will assign all the systems to be available over the network, and storage admins will assign the storage, and backup admins will configure the backups. That's where the application team will start deploying the code on top of this infrastructure. So that's where your application is ready. So this is what is traditional working model, guys. So you have to take care of all of these things when you are working in a traditional working model. Okay, so what is the problem with the traditional working model? Can you guys guess it? Can anyone guess it? What is the problem with the traditional working model? Can you guys guess it? What could be the problems? Here, by looking at this one, right now, you know, this is how the traditional working model works, right? Can you guys tell me what are the problems by looking at this particular model? Anyone? Correct. So the time taken is more. Okay, yeah, one more is any other things? Okay, let me gonna tell you. So if you guys are looking at it, the turnover time is very high. Okay, so the turnover time is that. So if I wanted to make everything ready for the application deployment, it is taking a lot of time. So this is where we are doing the code deployment. So until here, we are taking a lot of time in almost all the stages. Okay, so that's the reason the turnover time varies from the weeks to the months to everything ready for the application deployment. Okay, so that is one of the biggest problems. So that's the reason it is called as slow deployment model. It is called as slow deployment model. 1 minute, I think it's gone. Okay, hope it makes sense, right? So the turnover time varies from, sometimes it could take weeks or even months also for everything to be ready for the application deployment, because you see this many teams working behind the scene, and you may be wasting a lot of time purchasing and delivering it to the data center. So that's the reason it is called as a slow deployment model. Do you guys agree with me or not? Yes. And if you see, the overall cost to maintain and deploy this working model is very high. The overall cost to deploy and maintain this working model is very high. So that's the reason usually we call it as an expensive model, expensive working model. Agree? Yes. And if you look at the automation perspective, some aspects of the infrastructure can be automated, but most of the aspects such as the rack and stack, cabling and networking, these components cannot be automated, and these deployment procedures are manual and very slow. Okay, so this is what we call as a limited automation. While some aspects can be easily automated, but most of the aspects in the deployment procedures are manual and very slow. So that's the reason we call it as a limited automation. Hope that is also makes sense. And the next thing is that with so many teams working behind the scene on so many different tasks, the chances of human error is very high, which may result in the inconsistency in the environment. Okay, so many teams. Look at here. The field engineer is working. The system admins. This one, this team, this team, this team, this team. So many teams working behind the scene. So that's the reason the chances of the human error is very high, and which may result into the inconsistency in the environment. Another major disadvantage is that underutilization of the compute resources, because whatever the resources we are buying, may not be using it 100%. So which may leads to the underutilization of the resources. In a simple terms, we call it as a we are wasting the resources, wasted resources. Okay, so these are the problems that when you are working in the traditional working model, the companies are facing this many problems. So the deployment model is slow, and it is very expensive, and limited automation is there, and human error is there, inconsistency in the environment is there, wasted resources are also there. So that's where the companies are looking for an alternative solution because of these many disadvantages they are facing over the past decades. So that's where the cloud platforms came into the picture. That's where the cloud platforms came into the picture, guys. So that's the reason most of the companies are started using the cloud, because what cloud says is that you don't have to worry about these many teams. You don't have to worry about these many things. You can directly create the resources in the Google or Google Cloud Platform or any other cloud platforms. You can directly create the resources in the cloud platforms. Okay, so creating the resources hardly take few minutes to few hours. So you don't have to wait a lot of time. You don't have to wait a lot of time. See, so you don't have to wait weeks to months for creating the resources or creating the entire infrastructure that is readily available in the cloud platform. So you can just go to the cloud platform and create the resources. So that's the reason we call it as a when you're working in the cloud platforms, so the deployment model will be very faster. It's because okay, so because of many reasons, it provides you the cloud computing services, and because the infrastructure is readily available. One more is that it is scalable also. So that's the reason we call it as it is a faster deployment model comparatively. Okay, so compared to, so when I say cloud deployment model, cloud working model is comparatively faster than the traditional working model. It is because that when you are working in the cloud, almost everything is readily available to you. You just have to spin it up and use it. Okay, so that is the reason. So I have removed this point, that is slowly deployment model, because it is a faster deployment model. That particular problem was, our challenge was fixed by the cloud platforms. And the next thing is that when you are working in the cloud platforms, you don't need to maintain the data center. You don't need to maintain this many teams. So that is the reason the cost of deploying and maintaining the working model will reduce. Okay, it is not going to be that much expensive when you compare it with the traditional working model. It is cheaper. Cloud platforms are cheaper than the traditional working model. Okay, so that's how. And one more is, when you are working in the cloud platforms, everything works via APIs, application programming interfaces. When something is working via APIs, nothing but application programming interfaces, the automation is very high. You can able to easily automate almost everything. So that's the reason. So automation is very high. And here we do not have this many teams, so we do not have this team, no team, no team, no team, no team, no team, no team. So here we do not have a many teams working behind the scene. So that's the reason human error will not be there, or even though it is there, it is very small comparatively. Okay, and the next thing is that it is consistency. So because human error is not there, it may not result in the inconsistency in the environment. So that is also lesser. And in the cloud platforms, you can create the resources and you can scale it up and down as per the requirement. So you don't have to spin up all the resources. You don't have to spin up less resources. How much you need it, you can utilize it. And whatever the computational resources you are utilizing it, we are only paying for that money. Okay, so that is the reason comparatively the utilization of the resources in the cloud platforms is I mean, it is perfect comparatively. Okay, so that's the reason you are not going to waste a lot of resources in the cloud platform. There will be a little bit underutilization will be there, but that is also very less. So that's the reason we do not have that problem also. So that's how the cloud platforms came into the picture, by providing the cloud computing services to the most of the organizations. Now the organizations are utilizing this one and getting benefited in terms of these many challenges. Okay, so this is what is cloud platforms, everyone. So you might have seen what is traditional working model, the way of traditional working model. Now how the cloud platform also works, you have seen. Okay, very simple. If I have to tell you, in an on-premises working model, an organization managing its own infrastructure to run their code and application, we call it as an traditional working model or on-premises working model. In an on-premises working model, for example, if you take this is your company, this company is managing your everything. It will manage everything to run your code. Run your code or create your application, they have to manage everything such as infrastructure and everything. So that everything nothing but a servers, or it could be a hardware, or it could be a software, or a networking, or a storage. All of these things has to be managing by the company itself for application deployment. We call that company as a following a traditional working model. Following a traditional working model. And on the other hand, if I say one company, they wanted to create an application, for that they are using the infrastructure that is coming from the other cloud platform, maybe GCP. So this company is following, we call it as a cloud computing model, because the cloud provider provides to the services to this particular company in the form of a services. They provide the entire infrastructure as a service to them, so that they can utilize these resources for creating their application and to run their code. So that company is following a cloud computing model. In this one, the company has to pay to the cloud provider in the pay as you go model. Pay as you go model, they have to pay it. That means how much amount of resources they are utilizing it, they have to pay for that money. Okay, so that is how we call it as a, this is the difference, main difference between the traditional working model and cloud computing model. Does anyone have any questions, everyone? I'm going to give a pause here. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me, guys, before we jump on to the introduction to the GCP. We have seen the GCP introduction yesterday also. Let me gonna tell you one more time. Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider, guys. So it is a leading cloud provider. So we have just seen what the cloud provider provides us. The cloud provider provides us the resources or the computational. It is very simple, guys. If I have to say, assume that you got a job in the Hyderabad. Assume that you got a job in the Hyderabad. Okay. So if you get a job in the Hyderabad, what you have to do? You need to stay there to do the job. You need to stay there. If you wanted to stay there, you have multiple options. Okay. You can construct your own house. You can construct your own house from the scratch, right? You can construct your own house from the scratch, right? So this is what we call it as a traditional working model, traditional way. So this is a traditional working model where you are going to construct your own house from the scratch. By first you have to buy the land, and then you have to start planning your house and planning, and after that is brick by brick you have to start your constructing the house. So that's where your the house will be ready so that you can stay there. Or else the other option is that you can take a rent. So you can take a rented house, right? So you can take a rented house and you can stay there. Okay, you have advantages from the house. This one also you have advantages from this one also. The house, when you are constructing, it will be a huge cost, huge effort, huge money. It's a huge cost, huge effort, and huge money, but the house will be there with you. But the rented house is like a very costless, I mean cost effective, and you don't need to put effort creating any other things. Everything is available, and the time also will not take much time. You can directly go and stay there. And tomorrow, if you got a company, if you got a job in some other area or some other city, you can directly go there. You can just cancel the rent here and you can go and rent there in that particular city. So you have a benefits in both steps, but renting the resources is simple and easy because you are not managing everything here. Everything is managed by the landlord. Will be there, right? So he will be managing everything for you. So this is nothing but your cloud. Cloud is very simple, guys. If you ask me what is difference, what is meant by cloud, cloud is nothing but renting the resources for some amount of a period. Okay, renting the resources is nothing but a cloud, guys. So you rent the resources for some period and you utilize it for your application deployment and project requirement purposes, and then later point of time you release those resources. Okay, how much amount of resources you are using or how many days you are staying in that particular rent, and you are going to pay for that only. Similarly here also, how many resources you are utilizing it for the computational purposes, that much amount of a pay you have, that much amount of money you have to pay. So this is what we call it as a cloud versus traditional working model, guys. Hope you guys are okay with this one. One of such cloud platform is the GCP. They also provide you the cloud computing services to the companies. They also provide you the cloud computing services to the companies, and these services are very useful for the companies, right? So these services are very useful for the companies, and we have seen what is Google Cloud Platform. And Google Cloud Platform is a leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services which are very useful for the organizations to build the application, deploy the application, and scale the applications and services in the cloud platform. And this service is highly reliable, secure, and scalable. And what are those services, sir, if you ask me? So it provides you the compute services, identity and security services, management tools, networking services, big data services, storage and database services, machine learning services. Okay, so this is how Google Cloud Platform is providing you the wide variety and the wide range of services, category of services, I would say, Compute, in the compute you have this many things. Storage and big data, you have this many things. Lot of features, lot of options you have it for each and every service, everyone. Okay, so we are mainly focusing on the big data and the storage and databases. Okay, and this is it about the Google Cloud Platform. So I'm going to give you a small idea on how do we interact with the Google Cloud Platform. And before that, if anyone have any questions, you can ask me, guys. I'm going to give a pause like 2 minutes so that if you wanted to understand something, or if you are okay, or if you have any topics related to the course content or any questions related to the course, you can ask me. I will give a pause before we enter into the next topic. If anyone have any questions, please. Okay, so that means no one is having any questions. That's fine. So let me gonna tell you one thing about the GCP interfaces. Okay, so we will be using, so you as a data engineer, what you wanted to do? Can you guys guess it? We as a data engineer, what we wanted to do in the Google Cloud Platform? Sir, I as a data engineer, I wanted to work on the data ingestion, data ingestion, data storage, data processing, data transforming, right? So data transforming, data analysis, data visualization, data governance, data governance, and the data governance as well as data monitoring. I would just mention it as monitoring. So these many activities we wanted to do as a data engineer. Sir, I am a data engineer. I am going to perform these many activities in the cloud platform, nothing but a Google Cloud Platform, sir. So I wanted to perform these many activities in the Google Cloud Platform, sir. So to that means in a Google Cloud Platform, to work with the data ingestion, data storage, you have a plenty of the tools, right? So you have a Google Cloud Storage, you have a Cloud SQL, you have a BigQuery, you have a data proc, right? So you have a data proc, you have a data flow, you have a Airflow, you have a data fusion, you have a cloud functions, you have you can also use data bricks. So many things are there in Google Cloud Platform to do all of these activities, right? So I wanted to ingest the data, store the data, process the data. These many tools are available in the Google Cloud Platform. This is Google Cloud Platform. And you as a data engineer wanted to do all of these activities in the Google Cloud Platform. Sir, if I wanted to do all of those activities, sir, can you tell me how many interface methods are there? Sir, can you tell me how many interface methods are there? That means how I can able to interact with these services. How I can able to interact with these services, if you ask me, sir, you can able to interact via console, and you can also use Cloud Shell. You can also use Cloud SDK. You can also use APIs or third-party tools. So, so you have total 4 interacting methods are there to interact with the GCP services. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these many so total 4 interacting methods are there, guys. 4 are different way of interacting with the services. One is console. The second one is Cloud Shell. The third one is Cloud SDK. The fourth one is APIs and third-party tools. So if you wanted to work with a Google Cloud Platform, you have console, you have Cloud Shell, you have Cloud SDK, you have APIs and third-party tools. What is console if you ask me? Sir, what is console if you ask me? A console is a graphical user interface. A console is a graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services. So if I go to the Google Cloud Platform, so this is how our Google Cloud Platform looks like. So let me go to the Google Cloud Platform. So if I wanted to enter into the console.cloud.google.com. So this is a Google Chrome I have opened, and I am going to the console.cloud.google.com. That is our home page for the Google Cloud Platform. Home page. So this is how our home page looks like, guys. So this is how our home page looks like. If you look at here, so in this home page, if you wanted to see any of the services, so this is our left navigation menu. So let me gonna show you. So I'm gonna give you a small tour on what are these features one by one. Okay, so look at here. So, sir, so this is our left navigation menu. The moment you click on it, this left navigation menu opens. So you can able to see a list of services. All the products and services you will be able to see it here. And this is our project area, everyone. So if you wanted to create any project or delete any project, you have to go to this project area. So a project area you can see here. So in this one you can create a new project, right? Sorry, you can create a new project and select the existing project, or you can go to the project settings also for deleting some projects or creating some folder, and all of these things you can able to do it. Okay, so this is how. And similarly, you have a search box here. You have a search box here. So search box is mainly for whatever the resources you wanted to work with. Sir, today I wanted to work with some cloud storage or some BigQuery. So you can able to search that particular service, and you can go to that particular service by searching on this one. Okay, and here you have a Gemini UI. So Gemini is a AI which is one of the which is one of the competitor, we can say, for the Chat GPT, and it is exactly works as a Chat GPT. If you have any questions, you can also ask the Gemini UI. See here. Okay, you can also ask what is Google Cloud Platform. Cloud Platform in 5 points. You can just ask like this, and it is going to giving it the Google Cloud Platform. See here in the 5 points, it is a suite of cloud services powered by the Google, and pay-as-you-go model will be there. Global, that means I told you, right? Global infrastructure is available and always innovating. Every day it is going to be coming up with the new features and all, right? So this is how it is. Okay. So this is your Gemini UI, guys. So you can able to use it. And here we have a free trial status button. So it will tell you how much amount of resources freely available to you for how many periods. So as I told you, we are going to create this as a free tier account in the upcoming sessions. I will tell you maybe in the next session only, I will tell you how to create a free tier account. So it will give you almost 25,000 rupees for the next 90 days for our practice purpose, implementation, labs, projects, everything we can able to do it here. Okay, this is our activate cloud shell button. So here we have activate cloud shell button, and next one is notification channel, and these are help, and all of these things are here. Okay, so if you go here, so here we have Gemini UI, reward status button. This is our reward status button. This is our activate cloud shell button. So if you wanted to use the cloud shell, you have to click on this one, and this is our notification channel. So if you, so whenever you're creating anything, the notification gets created. It will be telling you you're creating this one, or it is already created. It will tell you the notification. And this is like a helper button, and these are all the, you know, the account level options, the account level options. Okay, so this is how you'll be able to see all of these options, guys. Okay, so this is our a small overview on how our interface looks like. Okay, just wanted to make yourself comfortable. Maybe we are going to create an account so that you guys seems familiar by looking at tomorrow's window also. So that's the reason. right? And now look at here. So we have seen this one, right? Now, so whatever you are seeing is a console, everyone. Whatever you are seeing is a console. A console is a graphical user interface. It's a graphical user interface. This is what is your graphical user interface. So if you wanted to work with the BigQuery, you are going to the BigQuery. If you wanted to work with cloud storage, you are going to the cloud storage. So graphically, you are interacting with the services. So that is what is your console. Console is what, sir? A console is a web-based, because it is available over the web, it is a web-based graphical user interface. Yeah, I can just show you here, guys, so that you can able to easily see it. Yeah, look at here. So it is a web-based, look at here, guys. So it is a web-based. Why? It is a web-based graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services visually. You are going to interact with the GCP services visually here. So this is what we call is a cloud console, guys. What we can do in the cloud console, if you ask me, you can create a bucket, you can create the data set, almost everything you can able to do it here, guys. Okay, almost everything you can able to do it here. Okay, cloud console is a web-based graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services visually. So you can able to create bucket, create data set, all of these things we will be seeing. To give you some idea what is console, I'm telling you. Similarly, we have a cloud shell. So cloud shell is also a web-based. It is available over the web only, but it is a command line interface. What is this one, sir? It is a command line interface. That means you have to interact with the GCP services. That means if you wanted to create a bucket, you have to write a command or script. Okay, so that's the reason Cloud Shell is a command line interface. So whatever you wanted to do it, you have to issue a command. Right, so that's the reason it is called as a Cloud Shell. In the Cloud Shell, you have a Cloud Shell terminal. You have a Cloud Shell editor also. So where is that, sir? You go here. So I have told you, right? So this is your Cloud Shell. So you can, oh, sorry, not this one, this one. This is your Cloud Shell. Click on this one. Okay, the moment you click on it, so the Cloud Shell terminal gets activated at the bottom. It is a command line tool, right? So you can also write your commands and scripts here so that you can execute it here. So here it is, guys. So if you wanted to do any of this, so for example, I wanted to interact with the cloud storage. So you issue a command called gsutil-ls. So a specific commands will be there in our upcoming sessions. I am going to tell you how we can able to learn these commands. We have one of this one. So I forgot to tell you. We are going to cover the Linux basics. There I am going to tell you about all of these commands so that you will be getting comfortable with the commands also. Okay, so Linux basics are covered here. Okay, so that is so. So this is your Cloud Shell terminal, guys. Similarly, you can also see editor, right? So here you have an option called editor. Click on editor. So Cloud Shell terminal is more of a command line interface, right? And your Cloud Shell editor is more of a code editor. Code editing purpose, you can create any code, you can run your any code, and you can write a code in proper way, and syntactically it will show you all of the options. You can see here, this is how you can write your code. It's like a code editor, like a Visual Studio and all. Okay, Notepad plus plus Visual Studio and all, it is like a code editor. Okay, so this is what it is. So you now know what is a Cloud Shell, guys. It is a web-based graphical, sorry, it's a web-based command line interface to interact with the GCP services via commands. Almost everything can be done using the commands also, and we have to write the commands anywhere or scripts in the Cloud Shell terminal or Cloud Shell editor. Terminal is purely to run your commands or scripts. Editor is to like a editor, code editor. So it also supports Git also. Okay, so that's all. And the third method, that is Cloud SDK. Cloud SDK. Sir, Cloud SDK is also a command line interface, but it is a local based. Okay, it is a what, sir? It is a local based. So it is a local based command line interface. So local based means according to the operating system. According to the operating system, you have to install this in your local machine. In the local machine, according to your operating system, you have to install it. So what is this one? So Cloud SDK is like from the local machine. If you wanted to interact with the GCP, it acts as a bridge. It acts as a bridge. So Cloud SDK is what, sir? It is a local based command line interface. So it is a command line interface which is installed on top of a local machine only. From here, you can interact with the GCP services. Okay, so that is what is SDK, guys. SDK is a local based command line interface to interact with the services via commands or scripts. Okay, sir, how do we download it? Sir, how do we download it? Sir, I would like to download it for my Windows operating system or Ubuntu operating system, sir. How can I do that? So to do that, go to the Google Chrome and search with G, GCP CLI download. Okay, GCP CLI download. I have also mentioned the same link in the here also install SDK. I have mentioned the link also here. Once you get an access to this one, you can just click on it here, it will open. Or you can also set like this so that you can also go here. Any which ways is fine. So installing the CLI command line interface SDK, nothing but. So for Linux operating systems, for Ubuntu operating systems, Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS, Mac OS, Windows, Chromebook, all of these operating systems. So for Windows, you can just click on this Windows and you see here, download the Google Cloud installer. So it is a hyperlink. Hope you guys are seeing it. It is a hyperlink, right? Just click on it. So it gets downloaded. It is very less MB. It is not even 1 MB also. So the moment it is installed, you can go to that particular location where it is installed and double click on it. So the moment you double click on it, see here, you are going to click on next, agree, next, next, install. The moment you hit the install button, it gets installed, guys, on your local machine. Okay, it will take 2 minutes. Okay, hardly 2 minutes for downloading and installing it on top of your local machine. So I have also told you the steps. You just go to this link, either this link or this link, both are same. Just search with the gcloud CLI or Google CLI. You will be coming to this particular location. Just click on this one, and that's where it gets downloaded to your machine, and double click on it so it gets downloaded and installed. Once it is installed, for me, I have already installed. I click on here SDK and open the SDK here like this. Okay, this is how the SDK opens. Okay, here also you can issue the command gsutil ls. Okay, gsutil ls. See here, guys, earlier it was showing the one bucket, right? So here also it is showing the one bucket. Okay, so I have already logged into it. So for logging in gcloud auth login, you have to run. For logging in, you have to run the gcloud auth login. It is like WhatsApp, guys. Sir, if you wanted to use WhatsApp in your local machine, what to do, guys? In WhatsApp, if you wanted to use it in your local machine, what to do? You first download it and then you install it. Then you do the login, right? So the same thing I'm doing it, but it's not WhatsApp, it is SDK for me. So first I have downloaded it, I will install it and log in with my Google credentials. I'll tell you how to create your Google credentials in the free tier account, right? There you are going to see it. And the same credentials, see, I'm running the command called gcloud CLI, gcloud auth login. This is a command, guys. Gcloud auth login. Just click on enter. So it will come here, select your account. This is my account and continue and allow. Right, so the moment you are clicked on allow, so you are now authenticated to the GCLI. So you can see here your project is also selected. So this is how in our upcoming sessions we are going to see a lot of things just to give you an idea. So this is what is this one, guys. Okay, so now look at here from the And the commands are same. These commands and these commands are same, almost same. So you don't have to worry about it also, learning it separately. So you can also do all of these activities. Right, so these are the three interface methods are there, guys. One is console, the second one is cloud shell, the third one is cloud SDK. A console is a web-based graphical user interface. A cloud shell is a web-based command line interface. The cloud SDK is a local-based command line interface. That's it. Okay, and you can go here. So you can see to interact with these many services in the GCP, we can use console, cloud shell, cloud SDK, and third-party tools. Third-party tools are like external tools, maybe like SSIS, maybe like Informatica, maybe like some Power BI, all of those tools. If you wanted to interact it, we will be seeing in our upcoming sessions. You will get to know it. Via APIs also, third-party tools and APIs also, we can able to do it. Okay, so this is what we call it as to interact with the GCP services. So these many methods are there, guys. And finally, we have a note. I'm going to conclude the session. So these are the some of the common ways to interact with the GCP services, and the choice depends on your preferences, requirements, and the type of interaction that you wanted to have it with the GCP resources. Whether it is through user interface or command line interface or APIs or integration with third-party tools. Okay, it depends on your project requirement, which interaction method you have to use it, and your own interest also sometimes. If it is flexible, you can also use it according to some people use console mode, some people use cloud shell mode. Okay, totally depends on your own interaction perspective. Okay, so this is how. Yes, I'm going to stop the session here for today, guys. Now tell me if you guys have any questions. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me, guys. Okay, and tomorrow's session is for those, I'm going to tell you this one, guys. Okay, so try to complete your registrations by tomorrow. We have completed our demos. Okay, we have completed our demos. So try to do the registration for the course. Try to do the registration for the course. The respective admins will call you and complete the registration. That means to pay the amount and get the access to the recordings. Get the access to the recordings. Get the access to the notes also. Get the access to my material also, right? Okay, notes also get the access. And the fourth thing, that is Zoom's live sessions, right? So Zoom link also you get it. So these are the three things you have to get it from the once you are completing the registration. Try to do all of these activities, guys. From tomorrow onwards, the regular sessions are going to start it. So for those who wanted to continue the further sessions, please try to complete the registration, get the access to the notes, materials, as well as Zoom links and everything. Okay, so tomorrow is only for those people who are completing the registration for the course. I hope you have liked the session so far. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me now. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me now, guys. Yes, the session timings are same. The session timings are same, guys. 7:30 to 8:30 every day. 7:30 to 8:30 every day. We are going to have a session timings. Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. I think this is it for today. And if anyone have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wind up the session, everyone. Okay. Yeah. So please try to complete your registrations, everyone, before the next session. Tomorrow is the next session, right? So before that itself, try to complete the registrations so that to avoid last minute changes or anything, so that you get an access to all of these things at the earliest itself. Try to do it today itself so that you get a very good chances of getting all of these things in one simple way. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Thanks for attending the sessions. Hope you have liked the sessions. If anyone looking for any of these things also, please let your friends or family members or relatives let know, so that they, if they are interested to get the jobs easily, because getting the job with the data engineering with the GCP is very simple. Please let them know if they are stuck in some particular area, some particular tool, so they don't want, I mean, they wanted to get a decent hike and they wanted to be in the trending technology. So this is one of that course, guys. Please let know or share the information to other people as well, to your friends network or families network. Okay, yeah, thank you guys, thank you all. Hope you guys have a great day today. Yeah, okay guys, thank you all, have a great day. Bye bye guys. Thank you all.